Hi, I'm just going to quickly go through and show you what Alan left on my phone. And this was the man who quasi befriended me last spring about this time. I met him, actually, it was a little later. I met him at Panera. He had been there for a while. We had been there for a few weeks, and I saw him regularly. So one day, I think he asked me if I could watch something of his, and then I asked him if he could watch something of mine when we got up to go to the bathroom. And then we began striking up a conversation. What became interesting early on is that, and I'm not here to pick on people, but I thought early on it seemed a little strange because when I told him about my situation, cyber stalking, cyber monitoring, being a whistleblower, all of that, normally that's the kind of thing, homeless, that's the kind of thing that men go, oh, I don't want to be around you because it's a little odd, right? Instead, he told me that he had been stalked by people in the government because he had made like $1 million in the 1990s and they wanted to know how he was doing it. And he was doing it mathematically. Um, and then he began over the course of a period of time. Now, I hold all these things as a grain of salt because remember, God sends something to me and says, something doesn't feel right. Well, then I find out, I've been very much hurt by Leo fours, whether it's Barack Obama, Meghan Markle, um, John Zuli. John Zuli is the 31st. And I just want to cue you in as to witchcraft because the lady who did, I can't think of her name, who did all of the Harry Potter with the witchcraft, she's also a Leo 4, and that is the 31st of July. So I have a really big karmic problem with Leo 4s, but and my pastor at my church, a priest, Father Tom, at St. Vincent Ferrara, he's the 22nd of August, and he would not help me with what was being happened with cyber stalking and cyber monitoring. He would not do the job that he's supposed to do, mediating with our family. The church refused to do it. Pardon me. That's not an option for the church. When you go through and you've gone through the steps, the church must step up to mediate. That's what it's supposed to do as a Christian community. They would not even allow me to go to the issues of divorce that they were offering at the church. There were a lot of things that they would not let me go to because they did not want my information to come out. And I also gave to this Father Tom, who's at St. Vincent Ferrara and Delray Beach. I want to let you know what the problem is because I think it's more Leo 4 than anything else. They were the one who brought in Fatima when it's really Guadalupe. It was because of their action that I went online to even look up Fatima, which is when I saw Fatima has no power with God, and that the case was given over to Guadalupe, and that happened when I went on to the Fatima site. I already have this information online. There's a lot that's going on there. Remember, the Catholic Church still has women and men getting up and saying that Christ came for us men and for our salvation. Now, that's a hard one to swallow. And I'm still a member of the Catholic Church and I'm a member of the Episcopalian. But it's time for us to realize that Jesus Christ came to speak about the truth. And it's also important to realize that he is not of the Abrahamic tradition. He is of the Sarah tradition. He is of the Nazarene or the Nazareth. He is of Nazareth, which is the seed of Sarah. Yikes, very different. And we're going to go into this because it's actually in the Hebrew Old Testament. And you've got to be very careful. But I want to first deal with this man, and this is Alan. So we're going to go through that. I should have done this to begin with. And so when I said to him, I said to him, how do people know what I'm doing at various times? I mean, like I was thinking about what was going to happen and I was going to ask him about it because he's odd. And he said, oh, well, I just happen to have information here about your guardian angels. And I said, yeah, but guardian angels don't send those kind of comments. They don't send comments telling you what you're doing in the bathroom or what you're thinking. A guardian angel would not do that to you, I said. And then he looked at me. And he also said to me, I said, I have this relationship with God. And he looked at me and he said, wouldn't it be good to be able to mind read someone? And as soon as I knew he was the 31st of August, and as soon as he said that to me, I thought, SOB. Yeah, they put you here, and you are here to harass me. I'm not going to go into all of this because I will do a whole section on Alan. But he removed all the emails that had all those other things on, I mean, the text messages that had all that other information on it, that let us know that his birthday was the 31st, that he had me cleaning up his dog poop. I mean, this is what, very interesting. Here we go. But I don't know if you can see this, and I'm hoping. So he removed everything but this orange shirt, which let me know that he was a Leo. And he went to see the church, and I'm wondering if you can see this. So he removed everything before that, and he went into my phone and took things, which is incredible. He took things from my pictures. But let's go in. So he had to come back because we hadn't seen each other for a while. And then all of a sudden he started hanging out there again, like the end of January, when I was getting ready to contact embassies and that as an ambassador for Heaven's Goddesses over creating and protection. All right. And the archangels. And so that's when he came back in, and I was trying to avoid him, but I couldn't. And I realized he came back in so that he could befriend me for a while, so that he could remove these things. So he got as far as removing everything before that date. And he left that there, letting me know that he's an orange. He's that Leo. And then he left me this. I had him go to the church that had this really gruesome exhibition at St. Paul's. I haven't been back since then because it's so Illuminati. And we had a whole discourse about art, all kinds of things going on there. So he left that there to let me know that they're always looking at us. But let's see if you can see some of these things. I don't know how well you're going to see this. I think it's backwards. So we're going to have to read it at some point. But as I'm telling him about all these things that are going on, and he's telling me to just ignore it, it will go away. And I'm saying, no, it's not going to go away. This is what's going on for people. Let's see if he has this here. Okay, I write this to him. I just read about the Ethiopian plane. So this is March the 10th. It's March the 10th. Here we go. And we're talking about where we can have a picnic. He's saying he's waxing his car. He's sending pictures. Let's see. Okay, so let's come here. I just read about the Ethiopian plane that went down. I can't read it from here. That went down heading to Kenya, the same type of plane as the Lion of Indonesia. I told you, Alan, Obama, Lion of Judah movement, Black liberation. Theology. He was behind those June 14, 2017, 2018 fires in England, Scotland. Rachel, Meghan Markle capitalized on this. All right, so this is happening the day after I'm writing. I had just told him that. He also did the Manchester and Orlando Gay Club massacres, and he was instrumental with what happened in New Zealand as well. No, It's time for me to come out. I have already prepared a few embassies. So I'm letting him go. The pool sounds nice too. I'm at school waxing my. I can taking a nap. We can talk later. I read at your pool school speed read. My mistake. The beach is better. Okay. Now let's see where if he still has this thing. So I contacted him the day after because I just said, I told you Obama Lion of Judah movement theology. He was behind those June 14s. So I let him know that I had told him that. And then on that day, on the 10th, is when the other Max, Boeing Max, which is, by the way, out of Chicago, Obama land. So much going on there. I don't know what to tell you. But that's when the Max 737-8 went down. Between Ethiopia, Kenya, okay? And it's out of Chicago. And it reeks. At this point, the government knows that Obama is behind so much of what I've said because they monitor everything I do. And then it began to work very quickly with, well, getting ready the Mueller report because they understand that Obama and group have held back the investigation of my cases, and it could be other cases like me. So yeah, he was behind. This whole group is really something. And the LGBT community is a part of it as well. See, they learned several things from the British and from the Americans, that you sacrifice your own people in order to get sympathy, and then you continue down a particular road, acting like you haven't done anything. So they've learned about lying. And Obama and all these people know it. Let's see, taking a nap. So he shows me pictures. He joins me at Panera's. Oops. I don't know where his, I don't know where his, I don't know, he says that this is by the school that he's a bus driver for, but I have no idea who this man really is. Taking a nap. I tell him if he saw the thing about renewable energy, the option for the Mexicans that was put up. I mean, this has all that whole area. I let him know that I had just recently put things online regarding the Union of North America. Here we go. So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to show it to you. Hi, Alan. Did you see the option to the wall that was put up on the internet March 5 through 6? It was a renewable energy producing educational industrial water desalination zone for both countries, a venture the U.S. would put together with the Mexicans. They used some of my recommendations that I sent to the Canadians in 2003. I went online last month. Let's see if I can help in this. We are not subsidizing Africa or the Obama Commonwealth. That's what they want us to do. And I forgot to say something the other day when I reported the crashed Ethiopian plane. The night before, I just explained to you what had happened before the Indonesian plane went down. I had linked the pipe bombs and the massacre of the Tree of Life to Obama and group, which includes the Ethiopian crown prince living in the U.S., the Lion of Judah movement, etc. The June 14, 2017-18 tower fires in London fired Trump. And I told you that right after the Tree of Life mess. And I told you that. And I told you that right after the Tree of Life massacre, which was the process I was offering, I told God, heaven, that Obama and group must be hit hard and identified. The Indonesian lion went down. This exposed Obama's actual citizenship at the time of his presidential race, Indonesian and Kenyan. After I told you this story, showing you the online, I exclaimed that I told God, heaven, that they needed to hit them, Obama and group, behind the terrorism, and hit them hard. 7 hours later, the Ethiopian plane heading to Kenya went down. Now I'm praying to God that Meghan Markle's team is exposed. Her fillers and makeup, false baby bump, etc. are exposed publicly by visible shiftings, meltings pumping springs and silicone of her theatrical applications. Let's see how she hides. Thank you. Heaven. He writes back, the net is public domain. And I say, it's okay that they have this. It should make my job easier. And he says, it's good, you're such a good spirit. Alan, I just found out that Boeing's headquarters is in Chicago. These findings are God pointing a finger. So, I mean, we've got to do something. That is true. I'm listening to NPR News right now. It's about Boeing. The model that went down has been grounded. All right. I know it's not their fault. Oh, the problem is, as I said, no other plane other than those markers have gone down. He writes, it's a new model. I say, I understand, but only those indicators have gone down. This plane has been commercially flying for almost 2 years. I'm going to show it to you. Only after I asked heaven to hit and identify did these go down, and it surrounded the parties I spoke of. God has also hit with other catastrophes. I have the patterns. I warned everyone about the 4-year coming, 2011 and now 2020. The Russians have sent major earthquake warning potentials to the US, Canada, and New Zealand. Everything Obama stands for must be shut down, and most of the internet needs to come down. The Russians have said that they have moved 600 missiles closer to the North. The Russians have said that they moved 600 miles closer to the North Pole. It is. Okay. To the North Pole. Saw a report from an Inuit chief. At the 1 hour of sunlight declaration point, they now have 2 hours of sunlight. I warned the Leos in military since 2001. It was just a game for them. They went after my life. Nostradamus lets you know that it is an older woman who holds the keys for the heaven. The tree of life will come from the faith of Ephesus. Their statute of limitations for the deal ended the beginning of Leo, 2018. Ended the beginning of Leo 2018, which was about the 22nd, 23rd. It was towards the end of Jupiter and Scorpio that Meghan Markle's birthday. She put California on her coat of arms and the ocean, just like Jacob's Rachel. Markle's first name took her father's gods for his land and his land protection. They broke the rules and California started burning. They had a statute of limitation that God gave them that went through me and that Nostradamus had also set forth that said it was about the time of her birthday, and it shows exactly when it is. Scorpio, it lets you know Scorpio is in Leo. It shows you the spotted lamb for Meghan Markle, and it lets you see where it ends on her body. And so they needed to have come clean by that point of time, and they did not. Wait, these urban centers are going with the pole snap. When things happen in the fall, I caught the patterns. After years of prayer, I went with prayer and scripture in each case. Christchurch earthquakes, 5 days after I contacted them with the Academy of Management about Udo's arrears, and New Zealand harbored him for years. The pattern of 4 earthquakes began. After Miles Markle went after me, 5 days later, 4 sets of Category 4 or 5 hurricanes, appropriately named, and it didn't start coming until Markle stopped harassing me. When I went down in church during the fall, because of what it was being said, how I just dropped like somebody pulled my electrical system. How I was dropped. 5 days later, Michael hit. I went to the hospital with that. I can't write anymore. I need to sleep. And he writes, sleep, my child. He wrote, sleep, my child. Let's go back and see what this is. This is March the 15th. Let's go down so that you can, and I'll just make this go. We're almost done with him. There we go. I know I have some typos there. Now, what I don't know is that when he's getting together with me, when I go to the restaurant, he's telling me that he's erasing, he's taking things. Oh, and he has me looking at things and saying, oh, there are chemtrails. And I said, he's pointing it out to me, and I'm saying, no, that looks like an airplane thing that's been left behind. I mean, there's all kinds of things. At the end, he tells me that I need a tranny, I need a tranny. And all this time, I sort of thought he was kind of transgender. I mean, I thought he was like a little gay. And when we hadn't seen each other for months, he leaned down, he stroked my hair. It was very odd. It was too much for me, actually. And he leaned into me, and I don't know if you remember that Harry Potter film where these dead things come after people and they suck their lives out. Well, he leaned over to give me a kiss, but he went like this. And I thought, and then I started getting hit by all these transgender witches. I mean, it's like Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's like the transgender demon nursery reader that was at the library at Obama's. I mean, they're like incredible. All right, so here we go. Now, this isn't just about Obama. This is a Satan thing. Oh, there we go. I got to be careful so that you can see this, because I'm actually putting this up for the Hispanics as well. So, oh, and then he says, sleep, my child. And then after this, oh, and he knows I'm stalked and monitored. So he knows I do these things, which is why I got rid of all the prior. What are your dinner plans for Saturday and Sunday? Like, why would he ask me for dinner? And so I'm figuring, I'm getting my case together for Palm Beach County. I'm already beyond, but I'm getting so much information from what's going on with God that I need to be able to get this to Palm Beach County. I don't have any now. I think someone needs to get ready for a basketball game. You will have traffic. Be careful, please. So he went to a basketball game. All right. Bucks are up 5 points. It's a trip. I'm a passenger since I got paid for everybody Groupon. All right. So he tells me he misses me and he wishes I was here. Now, at this point, I tell him I'm not going to sleep with him. I don't say I love him. I don't say I miss him. I mean, I say I want to visit with him, but I'm very clear about these things, and I'm making it very clear. Enjoy your time. I'm visiting with my family. I think it's good that you have friends too. There we go. I'm glad you had a good time. How is a little shrimp stuffed with crab meat? Going to bed. Sleep tight. You too. All right. Now it gets weird. Would you like to join me for dinner tonight? If yes, I'm flexible on time, anytime between 6 and 9. That's it. Of course, because he's erasing my stuff. Alan, my mother is having a dinner for my uncle's birthday, so I wanted to see if he was willing to meet just as a friend, my family. It's just a few people. She's coming up with this and asked if you would like to join them. She understands that you have given an invitation. Please let me know as it affects her grocery shopping. Think of this as a friend if it helps. Thank you. It's okay to say no. I don't know if you got my previous message. I'm 90% sure Sarah Latham is the person who accessed Hillary Clinton's private server. Oh, wait a minute. Where's that previous message? Oh. Wow. I don't see where the Sarah Latham message is. I wonder if he removed that one too. Okay. All right, so let's go down because I don't see it here, but I don't want to take up all your time. It's not in that one I just did. All right, so anyway, he says that he can't. Please, it affects, oh, it's okay to say no. Oh, and I don't know if you got my previous message. It's okay to say no. This is on, here we go, March the 16th. I don't know if you got my previous message. I'm 90% sure Sarah Latham. Okay, I'm going to let you see it, and then I'm going to read it. All right. I don't know if you got my previous message. I'm 90% sure Sarah Latham is the person who accessed Hillary Clinton's private server and leaked the email. She was also working for Freud's, your favorite psych theorist, although I think you also understand behaviorism, and Seligman, progressive desensitization. You're pretty smart. I appreciate the invite, but I'm lethargic after working all week and attending the game last night. So he, one, he doesn't want other people in my family to know who he is. Two, all of a sudden, he could work for Freud's. Yeah. Please extend a happy birthday to your uncle and thank your mom for the invitation. Thanks for getting back to me. I understand I could use more beauty sleep myself, awake for 3 hours last night. Is the invitation extended for tomorrow? It's for dinner, of course. All right. We're almost done here. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. Okay. I send, like one of those things on the side. Okay, kisses to you too. Here we go. How are you doing today? Now it gets interesting as well. So you can see that I'm telling him Sarah Latham was when Sarah Latham took off to Meghan Markle is when I knew. And all of a sudden, how about 7 a.m.? I'll meet you at Panera. Okay, we'll eat at Chris's. And then I'm just going to scroll down everything. That sounds lovely. Thank you. All right. So we go to Chris's. I'm heading to Panera. I think I'd rather go to the larger Chris's. I'm already at Panera. Don't rush. Okay. And I thank him for a lovely dinner. Thank you for the stimulating dinner conversation and your presence. Stay positive. If you ignore it, it didn't happen. If you ignore it, it didn't happen. At this point, I know he's with them. If you ignore it, it didn't happen. Between him telling me about Freud. Oh, remember, right after I got the response from G4S on December the 31st, 2012, and they sent their response to the FCHR full of lies. And they have been on my computer telling me what I'm doing, telling me what my daughter's doing. I had made a deal that I thought with John Zuley, our Leo 4. Anyway, to make a long story short, when I realized all those lies that went through and what was hitting me that I had to respond to, and that I was going to be cyberstalked, cyber monitored, I could be falling under national security, was falling under national security. That's why I hadn't talked to anybody about what they were doing yet. And so as soon as I said that, I got this text message. I got this email that said, Freud Guppy Green. So when he told me that Freud was his favorite one, his psychologist, his psychiatrist, and yeah, I went, And when I saw that Sarah Latham had worked for Freud's, she had been on Bill Clinton's team at the end, she had been with Tony Blair, she had been with Hillary Clinton, she had worked for Freud's twice, okay? And Freud's, by the way, had covered the Bank of America, as had G4S, which is why they went after Wells Fargo, because I was going to give Wells Fargo the deal. Not to say Wells Fargo was perfect, but I got news for you. Bank of America is probably far worse. Anyway, Alan, oh, here we go. So I'm looking at it, I'm saying, what? I'm going to act like all these things that are happening to me aren't happening? Are you crazy? So then I write, Alan, the Turkish terrorist is related to the New Zealand shooter. Last night when I mentioned that the identity and motives of the New Zealand shooter was contradicting and illogical, you agreed. Why would a shooter come all the way from Australia to shoot people in a New Zealand mosque? Why would an anti-Islamic spend time in Turkey, Pakistan, and in Bulgaria? Very Islamic. And Pakistan helps train terrorists. Neo-Nazi and fascist would not love communist China, which doesn't exist anymore. Anti-ecology is nonsensical. I told you it was a setup. This whole Obama, Marco, British globalist, antichrist, anything but environmentalist or social consciousness, like these people spend their own money. I'm almost 100% sure Sarah L. Latham, the new communications head for Marco, was the Clinton email leak. Ignoring things does not, and then I go on and tell him, ignoring things does not make them go away at all. It ridicules the victims, promotes evil, and causes more harm. You are against slavery, but for modern enslavement by the trivialization of victims and calling into question reality. I can't. I'm the positive person. Then he writes, point taken. I mean, he's Leo, when you beat him, they're not good. I hope your week is going well. Would you consider something, please? Although you are correct that I must still go on, in lieu of the fact that you were not just going away when it came to your dog or what you thought was your economic due from your wife, did you just ignore these things? And if you had, would they have just gone away? I hope to see you at some time at Panera for coffee or something. Oh no, I hit all these typos. Do what you think is best. Coffee sounds good. Have a safe and fruitful weekend. Thank you. I was driving to the girls and I am with them for part of the day. I hope you are enjoying your vacation. So all of a sudden now you're going to hear. All right, so let's go like this so that you see it's there. Because remember, this is a legal record. People have to be able to use this stuff. And the Mexicans have to be able to use it. The Canadians have to be able to use it. I mean, I have my... All these people have to be able to use this stuff so that they understand it's been set up, the National Organization for Women. By the way, they've linked Clinton in with what's happening with Obama and everything. I wouldn't go with that. Okay, so we just went through all of that. You can always stop it and take a peek. All right? It's all there. He sends me a picture. At this point, he's telling me that he needs a tranny, he needs a tranny, he needs a transmission. His transmission is going. And I said to him, you know, your car doesn't have 130 miles. It's not the end, but thank you. I was driving to the girls. Drums, hard wheel, reels today, Wednesday. Oh. You know, I'm wondering, I mean, and then he brings things up because I'm saying to myself, he could never marry me because he's going to lose all of his benefits from his last wife, from his wife. Where is this? Oh, drums, hard wheel today. And I'm just thinking it. I haven't said anything. I've only said, look, you can't marry somebody else. You lose your benefits. 138, I was overdue. Monday was busy with buses. Not much of a vacation, real vacation. My company's down, experience. My computer is down. Oh, I tried to let him use my other new computer. I can't even remember my password. He said it's $199. I don't need a lot of gigs. And he has all this really old technology. This must be a great sale. Is it a big Chromebook? Acer. Did you buy your computer? I'm at the garage. I need a tranny. 1,850. Ouch. a transmission job. All of a sudden it's beginning. Did you feel this? Your car is old enough, but you don't have a huge amount of miles. How many days will they have your car? I can get a used one for $250 to $500 with labor $400 if the magic fluid doesn't work. I'm driving it now. Magic fluid? A silicone sealer? No. Oh. Okay. Wait a minute, that's not what I want to see. Well, all right, I should be here about 6:30 and stay up until closing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let this go through. And I'm going to let you see what he says. Because I'll just read it aloud, and then you can follow along some other time. Have a good day. Found what you need. Should say find. So far, it's been a good day. I thought I would lose my wife's Social Security benefits if I remarried. I was wrong. If I remarry after 60, I would receive... Oh, that's not good. Let's put you on pause. Better yet, let's find out when I say all of a sudden I'm missing things. All right, I should just, yes. Alan, March the 26th. Alan, the strangest thing. I went into my text messages for you, and everything before 2:18 was deleted. Interesting. Okay. How's the car? He says, everything? Is that possible? I don't think I can clear everything in one hit. Really? I don't think I can clear everything in one hit. He's not denying it. He's in the shop. Yes. You did it. I mean, there's all this stuff here. Good night, Miss Schnebley. I'm at Panera. Hold on. So let's make sure you see that again. I'll be there Saturday. I will advance my financial algorithm. Don't believe it. I'm not saying he isn't a brilliant mathematician. He says that he was. Coffee sounds good. So, I mean, you just saw that, so I'm just going to go and let you see the rest and then stop. I have an extra computer. Okay. I do have plans. I'm meeting a friend at Panera at 8:30. I'll introduce her to her. Her name is Lynn. Okay. So far, it's been... Hi, Alan. I spent yesterday with my family folks. I hope you had a good day yesterday. Someone had on YouTube sent me some recommendations for information about VP Biden publicly, groping children, girls, youths, and women. These videos were put out by men sounding the alarm. Have you ever seen these? I'm in shock. I'm at the library. Saw some of the videos. He's certainly handsy. I'm not a touchy-feely person, especially with people I don't know. Good work, Schnebly. All right, then we get back to tranny, $800 on 30K miles. Okay. So let's stop here. And there's actually a right there. So I'm going, oh, the shirt was orange. So let's go back to Alan. The strangest thing, I went in and then I realized he took a text, a picture that was sent to me actually on YouTube. I couldn't get past it. I had just done some searching about what these transgender operations are like for women and what they did with the female reconstruction. And I said, how do they even have sex? Then all of a sudden I get this YouTube that comes to me and I can't get past it. And it's of an erection with lots of KY jelly on it. And he removed that. I had taken a picture, left it on here, because I was going to eventually take it to the authorities. Someday, I thought. I don't think I can clear everything in one hit. I don't think I can clear everything in one hit. Excuse me. You did. You did it. And I keep screwing this up. Let's put you on pause. Okay. Everything. Is that possible? Remember, he's telling me to ignore it, and he's trying to make me sound like I'm confused. It's in the shop. I can't do it in one hit. Yes, you did it. Everything prior to sending me a picture of your non-orange shirt. Do you want to talk about it? Everything. Jewish intelligence, the shirt was orange. And he writes back, are you doing this remotely or when I left my phone to go to the restroom or someplace? I'm not going to check everyone else's text right now. He says, are you accusing me of tampering with your phone? This is Alan. You sound confused. No, somebody else goes in and takes the stuff off. Alan, someone has deleted these things. It wasn't me. No one could possibly be interested in you but me. And no, I'm not confused. Oh, I said, I'm wondering if he's part of Jewish intelligence. So he writes back and says, Jewish intelligence? Jewish intelligence. Disregard the last two texts. If you think I'm hacking your phone, then it will be illogical for you to want to see me again, and I wish you the best. It's very interesting. Someone hacked my phone, but we already know others are on it. I'm sorry if it was not you. I need to be out of my storage unit by April. Corporate found out. Okay, then I went back. So let's go through. And it's all the other stuff is there. So let's just go through from where I was here, because I want to finish this. We discuss everything from nutrition to carbon footprint to all these things, but I just want to make sure this is all online before it happens again. All right. And then I put things in writing to him. Whoop. Oh. For legal record, this is on the 22nd. Here we go. After he did this, I wrote the following to him, and I should say this. And I did it for legal record. I'm sorry if it was not you who did this. I need to be out of my storage unit by the end of April. Corporate found out that I slept there sometimes. I'm sleeping in my car and not well. They, whoever are, have muddled my text I sent to my son. Coordinated text messages and emails telling me that they've wrecked phone. Sent me emails from friends' accounts not even addressed to me. Took at least 4 pieces of email which were legal evidence from my email. These were official case email. I had printed, which meant I sent it to an investigator. So it was to the FCHR, or it was part of investigation. I had printed out 2 before they had taken them. Miles Markle sent me email and a voicemail not just about Meghan Markle, but also letting me know that he could see what I was doing. At least it was sent from his phone. So when you showed up without running away after I explained things to you, and you understood so much, I thought you may have been sent, like Miles and others. You were another Leo 4, July 31st, like John Zuley. He was on my line for years. After I found out how negative Abraham had been to Sarah and this continual karma that has plagued humanity, I realized that God had granted her a divorce, something Judaism would never acknowledge. Yet Sarah and Abraham were pre-Mosaic law. He was an Amorite and she a Hatti-Hurrian. This is obvious in some of the Hebrew words. They are not Semitic, but Hurrian and Hatti. Isha, Sarah, Hepa, for the main Hurrian goddess. Anyway, when I found this out around your birthday and your dog, we stopped communicating. I did not see you again until I had done further research on the area and was getting ready to claim the area for Sarah's children, linking this with Micah 4 through 5, and tying it into the recent findings on the oldest agricultural site. With all my dilemmas, I figured only my ongoing hackers or a friend to Israel or Trump would show up. Hence, Israel intelligence, with everything going on, and 2020 coming. Another 4-year and I'm about to lose everything. Stress is an understatement, and seeing things missing was another. Oh gee. 2024 year will be worse than the 2011. Earthquake, tsunamis, social upheaval. Right after I got the response for G4S FCHR, John Zuley had set me up terrible to be destroyed. They lied nonstop and I was able to show their fraud, but the state of Florida and feds covered everything. I cried and asked my hackers how they could do this. They let me know they could see my daughter naked, not just me. I've been an experiment for them. Their answer to me was Freud Guppy Green. You said you liked Freud, but when it turned out that Sarah Latham had worked for Freud's and the name of the company and the grandson and all of her other positions now at Meghan Markle, she had been on my case. On Saturday, April 9, 2019, I opened up about what God was asking me to do and how could my cell phone internet be used to communicate. You told me that they can work through random Scrabble. You went into random Scrabble, asked who I was, and got puree. You said, Lynn, you are pure. I figured it was a setup, but I proceeded to tell and show you about the June 14, 2017-18 England Glasgow burning towers and how being Trump's birthday, we have Obama, Ethiopia, Prince in U.S., not in Ethiopia helping poor Ethiopian women, the link of the Lion of Judah movement, Black liberation theology. It was started in an Ethiopian immigrant's apartment, and Meghan Markle exploited this hardship. I told you this was terrorist blackmail to get Trump fired, and the British can do nothing. Then I told you about the 2011 and the Christchurch patterns for earthquake, the 5-4 patterns for hurricane after Miles Markle harassed me, the 5 days to Hurricane Michael after I experienced something like extreme brokenheartedness, it should say, because of the foul sermon with LGBTQ connections, and how I just dropped at the altar, still alert, but crumpled from under being sent to the hospital. When I saw the connection with the pipe bombs, 2018 election, and the massacre at the Tree of Life, I knew that was Obama and group. They did not want the Tree of Life to be offered from Ephesus, that the Nicolaitans would be shut down. I told God that they must be identified and hit hard. Hit them, Lord, hit them. And the next day, the 737 almost went down. Monday, it dropped as I had in church. Indonesia Lion. God let us know Obama's ties and his citizenship was probably Indonesian. Stepfather. I had sent this to the embassies on February the 5th. After I told you this on 3/9, the next day Ethiopian Air en route to Kenya went down. Boeing from Chicago, Obama, Curry, Meghan Markle. Huge God if finger pointing. Sarah Latham, LGBT, Freud, now with Meghan Markle's Clinton's email hackers who went after me. Most of Meghan Markle's friends in New York City's baby shower were imposters and drag queens. The Christchurch shooting was nonsensical for white supremacists. Who goes to Turkey and Pakistan? Michelle Obama's kids do not look like Barack and her, but an Indian woman, African American. Chicago friends. And although I always thought Mrs. Obama was very masculine in her walk, trapedius, there was an undoctored picture of her that I wanted to show you. But when Trump was exonerated, which frees me up, and come to think of it, you've told me a few times that you need it should be a tranny, not a granny, since last week. And I put it in writing and thought that you could be gay. So you need a tranny and Trump was exonerated? Wow, the shit has really hit the fan. How dare you or your people take my files and text? Lord in heaven, it is time I get justice so that I may help the many who would understand truth, repentance, and how we need this to move forward. So, Lord, for the sake of the many and the well-being of the earth, just as you have exposed and hit hard those so that the many on the fence who need faith that you mean business, please, for the people who use Wi-Fi, terrorism, and hacking, especially in my case, expose them and hit them hard. You hit my family after what they did to me so I could use their karma to help them and others. Now, Lord, hit these, for there is nothing innocent about them. Alan, you know I question how you were ahead of my asking and how you tried to see if I would fall. Lord, help me to stay strong so that my documents can be pitted? That's wrong. Can be outed. For a legal record, this is on the 27th. So 7/27, Max in Orlando went down as I was writing to you. I was telling God that they needed to be identified. You are part of that group. Oh, the Max in Orlando went down. Right, because he also set up the bombings in Orlando. I got to remember that one. In Orlando went down as I was writing to you. I was telling God that they needed to be identified. You are part of that group, and this was seen in the text messages. These messages occurrences showed up on my billing statement. That plane company, Chicago, Orlando, set up by Obama and LGBT community to garnish support, which they did in Manchester, the Tower fires of June 14th, Tree of Life, pipe bombs, New Zealand. You find the unstable online. You victimize them, set them up texting, emails, calls, visits, and pull evidence when the crime occurs so you aren't seen. I'd already written that the Obama group, now Latham, had staged this, and Jesse Smollett's charges were just dropped. Michelle Obama's people intervened. Everything between February 18th and after your shirt and the picture of the icon exhibition at St. Paul's in Delray, which I asked you to go to as I thought it was too Illuminati, which you said you had gone to, spoken with Father David. Had he given you the tour? You had two goodies coffee your discussions with him and how the church is now more progressive. And I did not agree with this. All of our discussions on art. How you told me you were going to the art museum with your school. Your name is listed on the driver's license there as a driver there. I looked at you and saw a lost Lucifer. It is already documented how Wi-Fi can identify people in speech by wave displacement. I've been reporting this experience since 2012, and if the sexual and other harassment surrounding me case, for the sake of the people, please, Lord, expose them. Lord Jesus in heaven's creating and protecting goddesses and archangels, and hit them hard. Thank you, Israel, Yeshua, and Mother Sarah. So after he wrote them those other things, right after that is when the plane had to be taxied. They were going to bring it over to California in Orlando, and that went down as well. So it was the Orlando to California deal. Oh, you know, this is such a Barack Obama LGBT. The LGBT was involved in the massacre of those people in Orlando. Yeah. So let's go back, and I guess I have to try to go like this and not hit the bottom. I know this is hard, but this is just now for a legal record. So let's go back and get it. Well, you can always stop. I guess I have to go softer. So let's go back here. Okay, there he is. 1, and by the way, you can see the telephone logs that I made to the Democrat. I made it to Wasserman office, and you can see that he returned the call, and I spoke with him for some time. And I also contacted the Republicans, and I let them know. In fact, I went to the Republicans when it first happened with the pipe bombs, and I said, look, I mean, this is a setup. Oh, you know what happened? In 2016, I went to the National Republican. After trying to get help from the Democrats, I went to the National Republican in 2016 on October the 27th. And so, and the next day is when Comey, another Sagittarian, came out and said that Clinton was still under investigation. And that's what turned the election. But Barack Obama and group had already set her up to be impeached. I mean, that was what they were already doing. And she had to be impeached. Well, I'll go into it. And I went in and I saw them, and the lady there said, oh my goodness, this needs to be in a fault. So anyway, a year to that day, a few days before that is when the pipe bombs started going off. And I knew that they were running, what's the word I want to say? They were setting everything up to make it look like Trump. And I knew from what they had been doing to me that this was retaliation. That's why they had the Hotel Artemis done in the summertime. That's why Alan showed up. They wanted to make everything coming out of Ephesus sound ridiculous because the Nicolaitans, they just didn't want it to happen. So on the 27th is when the Tree of Life went down. And that's after I had gone through and already put up online how God is offering repentance, 3-year moratorium, and about the Tree of Life. So I knew it was Barack Obama and group that had hit and had hit hard. And I knew it wasn't Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton's son, as I told the embassies, her son-in-law, like Trump, with Ivanka's husband, both fathers went to jail. I mean, they all they were both Jewish, both went to jail. And both girls got married within a year of each other after Obama became president. Pardon me. Hillary Clinton was not part of the Tree of Life massacre. Okay, so I'm done here because I've already discussed this. Thank you. Let's see, do I turn this